Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You're in the Prog Corner, where today we're continuing my journey through my vinyl collection, and we've landed on the letter D. You see that big empty spot there? Right off the rip, I'm going to make sure you guys know this is my third vinyl collection. You know, cut me a little bit of slack. I know there are definitely some holes to be filled here. I have no Dylan. I have no Doobie Brothers. I have no Dire Straits, and nothing from the Doors on vinyl anymore. So, you know, if that offends you, the address is 1015, P.O. Box 1015, Bellefontaine, Ohio. Hook a brother up. But I'm starting right now with the Dead Kennedys, their debut album. Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. Oh, this album is so good. Every song is just amazing. They followed it up with the great EP, In God We Trust, Inc. Oh, this is a great, great record. I love it. Their second album, I liked a whole bunch too. Plastic Surgery Disasters, Moon Over Marin, Trust Your Mechanic. Great, great, great album. All right, next up, how about the Deer Hunter Act 4? I need to get all the Deer Hunters. I really, really do. I love Casey. What a great band. This album's amazing. Next up, a band that takes up a big chunk of my D's. I've got a couple bands that take up a bunch, and this is one of them. Is Death Cab for Cutie, their debut album, Something About Airplanes. And then they got real good real quick with their second album, We Have the Facts, and we're voting yes. Fantastic, phenomenal album. Their third album might be my favorite. It's called Photo Album. Just dynamite. Every song on here is great. Their big breakthrough came with Transatlanticism. A lot of people's favorite Death Cab album. I like it a lot. It's really good. Then they went on the OC and got all famous and got signed to Atlantic, put out Plans, a very good album. Their big hit, Body and Soul's on here. And finally, from Death Cab, Narrow Stairs. Just such a phenomenal album with the, there's like a 10-minute song that opens this up called, I Will, what is it called? I Will Possess Your Heart. Just fantastic. That's Death Cab. The Decemberists just put out a new album. I don't have it. I only have the Hazards of Love. Definitely need Picarist. Definitely need the Crane Wife. I'd like to get the new one, but Hazards of Love, definitely my favorite from the Decemberists. Colin Malloy and his band of weirdos up there in Portland, Oregon. Deep Purple, gotta have something from Deep Purple. I got Machine Head. Yeah, I need all of them, man. Yeah, this is the first one I got back in the 70s. So, you know, here we go. Build my collection up again. Had to get this one. Yeah, a band I'm absolutely obsessed with, so bear with me on this. It's Deerhoof, man. I got all their albums. I love them. This one, I don't know if they're in order. This is Holdy Paws. They're not in order. They should be. This is Half Bird. This is their debut album, actually. The Man, the King, the Girl. So I need to put those back in order. And then they came out with Reverie. This is the album that really took them to the next level. Fantastic stuff. I love it. Then they put out the ultimate classic, Apple O. One of my favorite albums of all time. Panda, Panda. So good. And then Milkman came out. Phenomenal record. Absolutely stellar. Then they put out the Green Cosmos EP. Really good. Get to hear a little bit of Japanese singing there. The Runners 4. Cool album where the bass and the guitar player switch instruments. So they pan each real hard left and right. It's bizarre, but it works. Great album. And then Friend Opportunity came out. They were a three-piece at this point. Great, great album. And then they hired Ed Rodriguez, their four-piece again, Offend Maggie. Love Offend Maggie. If you're new to Deerhoof, start there. Deerhoof versus Evil. Phenomenal. La Isla Bonita. I wasn't crazy about La Isla Bonita. It's a good album, not a great album. But then they righted the ship with a great album, Breakup Song. Oh, this album's amazing. So good. And I got the live album, Fever 12, 16, 14. And let's see, we got The Magic. Very cool album. Very nice. I like it a lot. Then we got Mountain Moves. This one had a whole bunch of different guests, including Aquafina for some reason. Explain that one to me, boys and girls. Then Teenage, what's this called? Future Teenage Cave Artist, sorry. Good album. I really enjoy this one. Then they dropped another good one. This one was called Actually You Can. Great artwork. And then finally, the latest Deerhoof album, Miracle Level. Just phenomenal. I love Deerhoof, obviously. Next up, we talked about The Deer Hunter, but I am a huge fan of Deer Hunter. Also, here's Microcastle. Kind of one of those bands that Pitchfork was in love with, and rightly so, because these guys are amazing. A lot of psych influence in their music, but just phenomenal. Cryptogram. And then we go to Halcyon Digest. And then we got Monomania, their New York album. Real grungy and gritty and dirty. I love it. And then we got Fading Frontier. Real nice indie record. And then their latest album, which was a great album, Why? Hasn't Everything Already Disappeared? Deer Hunter seemed to have disappeared, so I don't know. Maybe they answered their own question. Next up, a little bit of Italian prog. It's Delirium, their third album. I love Delirium. I need the first two. I really like this band a lot. Next up, yeah, I got a little bit of Devo. I got 3 Devo albums, the first 3, which are the ones that I absolutely adore. A question, are we not men? Answer, we are Devo, with Jocko Homo and all the great stuff on here. My favorite Devo album is the second album, the Ken Scott produced Duty Now for the Future. Just phenomenal, 1979. And then their third album with Whip It, the big hit, right? Still a really good album, but after this, they devolved into something I didn't really care for. Next up, you know, when you go record shopping, you always got to check the... the 50 Cent bin. Well, I picked up a couple Neil Diamond albums, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I read the book back when I was a little kid. Don't think I've ever heard the soundtrack. And, of course, the legendary Hot August Night. And, answer this question for me, boys and girls. What in the world is Neil doing with his hands? Please explain that. I have no idea. What is he doing? What's going on with Neil there? Anyway, next up, a little punk rock band from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, whom I absolutely adore. It's Die Kreutzen. Oh, this band is so sick, so great, so amazing. Oh, Milwaukee punk, absolutely. Now we're going to Detroit. And I got a little prog rock band from Detroit called Discipline. This is Unfold Like Staircase. And then I also have Captives of the Wine Dark Seat. We need, what's the one that came out in between? To Shatter All Accord. That needs to be put out on vinyl. So Mark over at ProgRockEssentials.com. Maybe you can do something about that. Next up, here's an indie album that scored a perfect score from Pitchfork when it was released. A 10 out of 10. And I could not agree more. What's funny is the lead singer for this band put out a solo album like a year later, and Pitchfork gave it a 0.0 out of 10. Oh, yeah, How the Mighty Had Fallen. But I'm talking about the Dismemberment Plan and their perfect album, Emergency. And I'm going to be doing my favorite songs of all time episode here pretty soon. I'm working on that list. And trust me, there is a song off of this album you clowns need to hear. It's called You Are Invited. Oh, this whole album is great. But you know what? I think this is a prog album through and through. The musicianship is great. The songwriting is great. Emergency and I by the Dismemberment Plan. Check them out. Just got a couple more here for you, boys and girls, in the D, including my own record. Yeah, this puppy dropped in 1986. It's Disorderly Conduct. I've shown it to you guys before. There I am. And here's the back. There's your boy. And a close-up of me there. I'm not a narcissist. Okay, I got 3 more. I got Dixie Dreig's Free Fall. Fantastic. But they would follow this up with an album infinitely better. And that is What If. Oh, this is one of my favorite American albums ever. Just phenomenal. Take It Off the Top, Odyssey, Andy West, Mark Parrish, Rod Morgenstein, Steve Morse, and Alan Sloan. Hello. Oh, man, what an album. And finally, I only have one record from the mighty Dream Theater. It is their most recent. I need to go back and get them all, but the price points I'm looking at for some of the Dream Theater albums, just ridiculous. So we'll see if I ever get all the Dream Theater on vinyl or not. That's up for debate. I love that band, but vinyl is not cheap, man. It's really hard when I have so many holes to plug from the classics, right? And then when you want to buy a record from a new act, it's like $40, and it's like, man, where am I going to find the money to get my Doors albums and my Dire Straits albums and my Doobie Brothers albums and my Bob Dylan albums? Help a brother out. Like I said, P.O. Box 1015, Bellefontaine, Ohio. Anyway, guys, I'm working on something special. I think I'm going to rank the novels of Kurt Vonnegut, and I am doing a couple album reviews here. I'm looking at the new Airbag, the new Focus. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Just remember, this Sunday, the Sunday Prog Stream, boys and girls. Oh, it's going to be a good one. We are going to be talking about the genius of Neil Peart. It's going to be a great episode Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, live. Join us then. Anyway, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East. Free Tibet and God save the king. I'll see you punks mañana. Bye-bye.